had one of my voiceover students contact me the other day and said that she'd done some work for a company and they'd been very happy with it and they'd agreed a price. She completed the work on time, all gone swimmingly well. And then she waited to be paid, waited a couple of weeks, no payment. She thought, well, fair enough, it's only been 2 weeks. A month went by, still nothing. Then another month, still no payment. And then 90 days had elapsed and still no payment from the client. And she was saying to me, is there something she could do to kind of jolt the client into paying, just nudge them in a nice way without necessarily hacking them off, because she may want to work with them again in the future, but at the same time get that money through, because after all, she'd done the work to a high standard and they hadn't kept their side of the bargain. She hadn't been paid. And it's really annoying and frustrating when that happens, and it happens to all of us at some point. So there are some things I think you can do, and this is the advice I'd give to you if you've got a reluctant payer, and here's how to kind of nudge them along in a nice way, but also a firm way. Firstly, it's always important to send your client an invoice and say how and when payment has to be made. You've got to be really clear on that. And then if you've still not received the payment after 30 days, then your next step is to send an email to your contact at the production company and say that payment has to be made by a specific date. Make sure you put that date down so everyone knows what it is. And if still no payment, send a final reminder with another specific payment date. It is these specific dates that are really important. And then mention you will have no option but to undertake county court proceedings in the small claims court. So this is if you've still not been paid. And bear in mind, legal proceedings are a very last resort, and the court will need to see that you've given your client plenty of time to pay and offered options such as instalment payments. So I think the key takeaway to this is clarity. You've got to be really clear when you want to be paid. So don't leave it up to the client. Help them along and say, when you first issue that invoice, I want to be paid within 30 days, please. And then if they haven't paid, a nice gentle reminder saying, oh, you've probably forgotten, but it's now beyond the 30 days. And then start mentioning specific dates when you want to be paid. So I need to be paid by, and then maybe a week, 2 weeks. And then if that hasn't happened, you could issue another one and say it really needs to be paid by the blah, 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 30th of April or whatever. And if not, then you can mention the small claims court. Now, it's important not to threaten your client because that could go against you. You've got to be friendly at all times, but you've also got to be understanding of the client. So if they're having trouble in paying, then you can offer an instalment payment. And always say how you want the client to pay you. Some people completely forget and just expect the client to know. Sometimes the client themselves may say, okay, we do a bank transfer or we use PayPal or whatever, but you can take the lead on that. And I think that's important. At the end of the day, it's about being really clear about what you want and having those staging posts as you go along, so the client is then reminded that actually they owe you some money. So good luck with that. I hope you get paid on time. Thanks very much for watching today. Look after your voice and see you next time.